Uh, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for taking the time out.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Welcome once again to whatever it is that we do. We've got a bit to talk about because you have a new album on its way,
We do. Absolutely.
23rd of January.
Yes.
You've been touring quite heavily as well, which we may get into shortly.
Yep.
But probably the most important thing I want to start with is the last time that we spoke was just before the He's Legend tour a few years ago. And you've been touring pretty heavily since then. You've been in various shows with a whole bunch of bands. You've been over to New Zealand. But one of the main things I remember from that conversation that the three of us had was about beer. So having traveled across the country, what's your favorite tipple?
Ooh. Well, you're gonna cop his and you're gonna cop mine, so
Ah, look, I just can't go past the Melbourne Bitter Tin.
Okay.
You
oh, I like that answer.
know?
Okay.
I've tried many beers.
Yeah. Um, so I got like a couple. Is that okay if I have a
Yeah.
couple?
Sure interview.
If we're if we're talking commercial beer on tap, I'm actually a 4X bitter man. Everyone hates it. 4X bitter on tap after a hard day's work is the best commercial beer you're gonna find. Outside of that, which is now commercial beer anyway, my go-to drop is Cooper's Green
Mm.
Now
or
we're talking.
or Cooper's Red if I want to get shit faced.
Yeah.
And I love a Guinness and I
Yeah.
love all stouts.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you
Cooper's.
end up when you tour, do you ask for them particular drinks on your riders?
Oh, I'm a water bloke a lot,
Mm.
so if I do, I'll ask for Cooper's Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
The boys
No.
love their Melbourne tin. I think the Melbourne bitter tins tend to be a bit of a favourite with you, bloke. So,
Yeah.
but I'll still punch a couple of those.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You know.
Oh yeah, you were out whoring yourself on Instagram not that long ago, Lucas, with the Melbourne Bitter, if I remember correctly.
No, and that was a 4X bitter.
You should, I'll have to find that. I'll have to have a look at
Yeah.
actually.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure. I got excited because I walked into a pub and they had 4X bitter on tap.
Yeah.
That was actually at Sunny Coast.
Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
nice.
No, 4X bitter because you don't see it anywhere anymore. No one drinks it except for me.
Yeah.
They're just cranky old Queenslanders.
Got to keep it going. Got to keep representing
Yeah,
Queensland. All right. So, all seriousness, let's talk about the album. So, it is Death Wobbles. It's technically your debut album. It's out on January the 23rd. Um, you've been working on it for a couple of years, I believe. Based on the blurb that came through, you're quoted as saying, finally releasing a debut Hammers album feels kind of the same as the build up to your first orgasm, only heaps better.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, it depends who's giving you the orgasm. If it's a local priest, maybe not. But
Ah,
if
oh,
it's,
hectic. That's
or
heavy.
maybe, I don't know. So, do you care to elaborate a bit more on why you would say that?
Priest? So,
Oh, no,
I'd probably say
it-
because I'm, there's probably a couple of edits in there, I reckon, mate. I'd probably say that just because I'm a colourful bloke that sometimes says weird things. But it's an exciting process for me as a writer with this band. I think I don't know how extensively we talked about the Hammers history last time we spoke, but I've been writing songs for a long time, and I've had three successful bands before Hammers. Um, and Hammers is like the band that I kind of kicked off with, my best mates these days, and a lot of fun. It was the first time I'd been able to write music and not have it as a catharsis for my fucking misery, more as just like this is the dude that I am on the job site, have fun with it, and it's obviously traversed back into some darker areas and stuff. But I think the build up side of it is the fact that it's taken me two EPs and obviously us growing together as a unit to really consolidate and carve out an identity for this band because I don't like cookie cutter music. I like music that kind of irks you and is a bit abrasive at first but lasts forever. I don't like things that sound the same as other bands too much. So although we're all doing the same thing, I really want Hammers to have like a unique and strong identity. So now that it's done and I feel satisfied with the result, that's me coming musically. I, I guess that's the best
there's
way
the
to
orgasm.
answer. Yeah, there's your fucking orgasm, brother.
That's the headline there. That's me. Come with the music.
Oh, please don't, no.
Please.
That's like that'll be like Arnie on Pumping On. Always coming in the gym, coming on time. Oh, no.
So I mean, I had to listen to the album over the last couple of days, and lyrically, the way I viewed it lyrically was kind of a little bit like Keith Buckley, where there was a lot of poetry that was in there, but then also a lot of like, this is a day in my life.
Yeah.
Do you feel there's a little bit of that was something you were just trying to do? Or was it just something that was like, that's just how I feel when you're putting this out there?
Yeah, I think like when you get as old as people like me and Keith and you're definitely doing it on autopilot, but you're also reflective of what you're saying. You want it to be quality. So there's definitely like I like you're talking about, I guess, a dark mind that survived a lot that needs to laugh to deal with it. So
Yeah.
that's probably the best way. Like we're a fun, like all we do is fucking have fun together. We all laugh, like, me and Ruckus work together as well, and the whole band's like best mates hanging out. We go on tour and everything's like a holiday. The writing process is obviously starts internally with me, and then I bring it, to the boys, and we form it and do our thing. I go through a lot of stuff to get to that point every day, and it's good and bad. So, you know, there's got to be poetry and class in your writing. You got to have some kind of silver tongue so people are attracted to the hook that's in the lyric, and that can be rhythmically with the phrasing, mixed with the melody, mixed with the scream, whatever you're doing. Like, I feel like the best music is as close to autopilot as possible with like a fact check at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're digging too deep as a writer to try and like make sure it's a thing or coming up trumps with something else. Like, I just don't do that anymore. Like I said, I'm fucking too old to worry about comparison too much. So yeah.
Well, you were talking about fun there. I mean, we mentioned this last time about like your videos, how there's always a little bit going on, and of course, the one I will go straight to is Top Fun. Okay, because I mean that's obviously a fairly it's quite an extravagantly funny video, and then the lyrics in there are actually quite funny as well. Like there was a little you mentioned in there was kind of a little twist where I can't remember exactly what the lyric was, but it was kind of like the bit about calling your mum. And I was like, I thought that was going to rhyme into something else, especially when
Uh,
talking about volleyball. So,
yeah.
I mean, the whole fun part is that it's obviously always been throughout your history, but do you feel that's probably the biggest part of your identity alongside how fucking heavy and brutal you can be as a band?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think it's just our chemistry that it's like it's not fake. We're not trying to do that. It just comes through. Um, I think that we've just kind of found a really healthy way to channel that into the music.
Mm. Yeah, like the lyrics in Top Fun, like the verses, were kind of commandeered, not commandeered, they were kind of headed off by Fish, and then we got together and kind of like tweaked them and stuff. The chorus was me. Like it's one of those things. Like, I think that song specifically, I wanted to, or Fish and I really wanted to channel the feeling of being an Aussie in summer,
Yeah.
partying and having a barbecue, chopping into the beers, and obviously getting on the bag and doing whatever wild shit whatever your flavor is. Not that we do anything like that. And definitely the fun behind the escapism that kind of exists in this country a bit. Like, there's obviously a lot of shit that goes on, and there's heaps of heaviness in this record that's far more serious. But Top Fun definitely has like a nod to, hey, let's bring it back to the party, because if we ain't got this shit, then we ain't got nothing.
Mm.
And our band as people are definitely what Ruckus was saying before. It's like that's how we operate, no matter how serious the shit is that we're doing.
Mm.
If we don't have that, then like, why the fuck would you be in a band if you're not, it's the most fun you can have with your mates with your clothes on. So
Talking about you mentioned there about there's different elements musically, and so Ape Shit, which opens it, that's a bit of a roller coaster of a track. There's grooves, there's breakdowns, I feel there's deathcore in there, there's a bit of post-hardcore, and that's all about not apparently being able to get a Macca's breakfast. Okay, so
wow.
that's that contrast again. But then flipping right to the other side, the last track, Yowie, that's like a 7 minute, um, fairly intense piece as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what's I suppose I should ask more about Yowie because we can tell obviously what fucking Ape Shit's about. Ape Shit's about getting up on a Monday morning and going to work. But
Oh, well, how's this? How's this? That song, it's the only time I've ever done this. I wrote that track based around a movie that came out in the 90s that had a massive impact on me.
falling down.
Do you remember the movie that Michael Douglas was in called Falling Down?
Yeah.
That song's about that. But it's more about like all of us trying to cope with the modern pressures of
Yeah.
society now and losing it. And that whole frame of that whole movie and all the scenes he went through. If you go through the lyrics now, I've said it, and actually read them, you'll be. I've sort of pieced together the journey that he goes through in that movie a little bit, like
Yeah,
right
it's going to
through
make sense.
because he's got to get to his daughter for her birthday or something
Yeah.
like that. Like there's, yeah, but Yowie, that was a rare moment where like I was driving home from work and I was tired, and I had this imaginary fucking like scenario of like this is gonna sound so bizarre. In my head, I was like in the hills in Canada or some shit, full fucking bear bloke living up there in a log cabin,
Bear Grylls.
living in fucking fire and wrestling trout. And I was just thinking about this scenario where like this creature it did in my head at the time. And please remember that I was driving home from work while all this was happening, so it's pretty fucking dramatic. This creature that was like half wolf, half bear was after me, hunting me, but I was also hunting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, so we're going through this process and we eventually have this showdown. And obviously, I won.
I've seen the gym work, yeah.
It ended up taking this thing home and hanging it on my wall. And while I was trying to, so obviously there's a bit of shit that's going on between that. It's not just on my wall. There's a bit of skinning and bleeding and stuff going on.
Yeah, minor details.
Yeah, minor details. And anyway, as I'm trying to sleep, I go through this trance-like situation, and we basically shapeshift. Well, he shapeshifts into me, and we become each other.
Okay.
And then in this head, I'm like this creature, and then I kind of realized that I was probably going to have an accident, and I was nearly home and fucking snapped out of it. That whole idea spawned the actual sound of the song too.
Yeah.
I had a couple of riffs I was fucking with, but it kind of created, because most of the stuff I write is generally like not so much factual, but it's cryptically based on what I got going on or what I think about a certain topic in the world. I rarely have fucking hallucinations while I'm driving.
While you're driving.
Scenarios about mythical creatures that I'm punching on with. Doesn't really fucking happen. So it's a really fun song to write, and it definitely harks back to like our days in Helm and playing post metal. Like obviously it's a Hammer's track and it's a lot more athletic and muscular than a Helm song, but it's got the same dark
the feel.
Yeah. Thing that used to have. So that's the story with Yowie, bro.
The album is I thought the production on the album was very, very, it's going to sound girly. It's not meant to sound girly, but lush. Like everything was full. Like it was juicy. And even yourself, Ruckus, like some of your drum work, which the songs I wrote down, your drums that just kind of like really stood out were Annihilation. And the other one was Hot Wheels. Like I just felt in there, the drums just really, really stood out to me. So I mean, I think who did you work with? You worked with was it Michael? Where's my notes? There was the producer again. Ian, it's written here somewhere.
Michael Campbell and Luke Palmer tracked all of the instruments.
That's it, yeah.
Luke Palmer tracked the drums.
Yeah.
And Michael Campbell and Luke tracked the guitars and vocals. And Forrester Saville
that's what I've written down, yeah.
He's been mixing and mastering my music for a couple of decades now. He's sort of my go-to guy. I've had a couple of dudes here and there on certain projects, but he's the guy. He's responsible. The dude's an alien, let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
So do them guys just like sit there and go, need more drums there, or let's make the guitars louder, or is that just something you do? Yeah. And they just go yes or no?
Well, I guess kind of like being in a band. Like I'm not going to be. I think I've said this to you before, but I am a control freak songwriter. I try to do it as amicably as possible, and I value my friendships with my band members. So that's obviously at the fore. as a writer, I'm also a producer, so I hear what I'm hearing. But like I said with the band, when I go into these things, I want to hear what those guys have got to say. Like, and when I know what I know and I know that that's what I want, then I'm assertive with it. But most of the time,
Mm.
like, it's like I want to hear if someone else has got a spin on what I'm doing. If it's going to fucking improve it, then why would you not take that in? You'd be
Yeah.
ignorant to not do that. The same goes like Ruckus's drum performance. Like I'll back out. Like I was so proud of his drum performance through this whole record. It was obviously pretty challenging in heaps of ways. So it sounds fucking amazing, and he plays like that. Like I'm, very happy and proud to have a drummer in the band that's a pocket player that pulls it off and does that stuff on there. And I think Luke pushed you a fair bit too, as well as me.
Yeah, we did a
I
lot.
wasn't the only bully in the room.
I think I was the biggest bully in the room. Yeah, it's definitely I'm super proud of it and definitely pushed well and truly outside of any comfort zones. And I guess at being the drummer, I go in first, so I don't hear what Lucas hears because as he writes a song, he's got an idea of what it sounds like towards it for the whole thing, and I'm focused on what my part sounds like within his brain. So when we're writing parts, I don't see the bigger picture, so it's really exciting for me to go and do the drums and then get a song back and be like, oh, that's what it sounds like. That's
It sounds really good.
He's like, my mate's actually a fucking lunatic.
You know what he's talking about.
I will. So obviously, you guys toured quite a bit. You toured with Cog recently, maybe again. Who knows? You also, fuck knows where I found that out. And you've got your own tour anyway coming up shortly. Like when you do tours like you did with Here's Legend, or you go overseas where people might not necessarily know you in New Zealand, like what and even Cog recently, what sort of experiences and can you take from that you then move into your own shows moving forward?
That's a good question.
Crowd reads
Asked
it.
it.
Yeah, crowd reads
If
are
we,
good.
if we see heaps of people going,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, it's a good sign.
Or just as random, just sending it.
I think, yeah, it's not like it's either they're extremes. They're either one or the other. Like Lucas was saying, there's either people just completely stunned by what can't really process in real time what's happening, or people are just losing their lollies and throwing their limbs around. So,
There'd definitely be a few up the back there. What's this whole shit?
oh yeah, for sure. But we can't see it, so that doesn't matter. You know
Yeah. But yeah,
Cog's an interesting.
So I was going to say, stuff we take from it is probably like, like more where you sit, because obviously if you're fronting your own tours and you're playing to your audience, when we play with another band, they're there to see them, and there's obvious differences with every single band that you play with. So getting a read on like where you can take your next step, or what, and obviously listening to what they say to you afterwards, like if they meet us at the merch desk and have things to say, it's just really cool. It's not just about people telling you that your band's good or whatever. It's like you're really trying to bond with your listener and understand what their process is, how they receive you, because we're inside the band, so we only fucking know like what
We
we're
think
doing.
you're great, yeah.
Well, yeah, either that or just terrible all the time. Like it depends how critical we've been at the time, but definitely when you speak to people and you see their reactions, it's more like, okay, sweet, this is what we do to people, or this is where we sit. Like, and being a weird band, it's like, we're not weird, but like we are definitely a band that kind of is just outside every box, but also inside the box at the same time.
Yeah. It's very. I think you guys know this. I kind of struggle with trying to say what a band sounds like, because then you feel like you're kind of restricting them, and you're going, well, if you only listen to these bands, this is all you can listen to. But you guys, I'm not saying, but however, you guys have so many little different nuances that you make it hard to categorize you, because there is so much going in there, which I actually think is really great, because then that makes you unique in that aspect.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, dude, like all as a writer, my music's all like that. That's why I've never. I ain't no fucking rock star, but I've got like a discography that spans, you know, heaps of releases. But it's because it's weird music. Like, but that's what I like. That's the funny thing with Hammers. As people in the band, we all eclectically listen to different stuff, but we all have these meeting points where our taste is the same, but all of us kind of like that music that sits in a weird spot.
Yeah.
As well as some scene stuff, but I don't know. I'm not really attracted to cookie cutter music. I like stuff that's breaking out some like doing something different, and like I said before, stuff that kind of irks you, and you're like, "Fuck, I've got to invest in this to understand it," and then you invest in it. Like talking about He's Legend before. There's bands like Soundgarden, He's Legend, in the heavy realm, Meshuggah, just people that are bands that just doing like He's Legend can be taken, for example, as a band. You just listen, oh yeah, they're pretty good. But then when you go into that band and you really digest their music, there's so many layers to what is essentially just a basic rock and roll band, and so many weirdisms, and like the ability that they have to make every part of one of their songs a chorus, but you don't know when the chorus is going to hit you because it might take 30 listens before you start noticing that one part because you've been too busy noticing the other part that stood out the most. And that's where an album, to me, like if I go back to Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger, and how that hit me when I was 15 years old, it was like, fuck. I'd never heard anything so peculiar and weird. We had this like crazy glam metal sounding singer over this dirty Black Sabbath sounding music that was totally progressive, and you could tell they weren't fantastic players, but they played really hard music to play. And like that sort of stuff to me is what turns me on, and that's not what turns the masses on. So
well, it did with Soundgarden.
Well, yeah, that's right. But that's time, that's era defining, isn't it? Like,
yeah. I think I'm only meant to have 20 minutes, but I've got like 3 more questions.
Let's go.
Okay. Fuck whoever else is after this, if there is anyone.
Yeah.
Well, fuck him then. All right. So the crowdfunding, what was the thought process behind that?
Ooh.
Well, all right. I know the answer. Okay. For the purpose of content.
I was dead against it for a long time. Being an eldest, an older person in the music scene. It's like, I come from a time where you work hard for what you do, and asking for what essentially appears like a handout was like taboo.
Yeah.
And it come up a couple of times before, and I was like, nah, not for me. And then considered it, and then, yeah, like Rucker said, like recording now as a band and earning fucking fuck all money doing it can damage your life outside. Like it's really hard. Like we're all working dudes that have partners or families or whatever, and you're sacrificing a lot to do it. And people don't really understand. Streaming's just got to die. Period. It's got to fucking go. But we sort of I don't know, discussed we looked at it and was like, this is actually a really cool interactive process. Like if I had this when we were kids, man, like imagine if you could just like be part of a release of like I say, when Alice or Soundgarden or fucking Deftones or whatever dropped a record back then, you could just be a part of the process.
Yeah,
like as if you wouldn't chop in. So we looked at it like that. That was kind of
that's what tipped us over the edge because we're like Lucas said, we're on the fence about it, not wanting to just take.
And we've done everything independently.
Yeah, like, we've worked really hard just to do it ourselves, but we kind of reached a point where it was like a crossroads, an opportunity for us to connect with an existing fan base a little deeper and then invite newer fans for this journey, into this album. So it was kind of a no-brainer the way we did it.
And like, totally blown out emotionally, really, that how quickly it kind of people just helped, like just onto it. We didn't actually realize we had that, like, you got some fans or some support, but when you see it, it's like, holy shit, like, which is also a good measure of the positivity in a process like that, I guess. But I would still prefer people to just be able to buy music and artists get paid how they kind of should, but ever grateful for the process.
Yeah.
So there is an opportunity.
It's the new world now. Okay, so next question. Your tour of news. So you got your own national. Well, I won't say national tour because you're not coming to Adelaide. You got your own East Coast tour coming up. So we'll just let that go. Your East Coast tour
Pretty
coming
sure we
up.
talked about this at the He's Legend show, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why we're skimming past it. We'll just cut that out the final edit. The For people who haven't seen Hammers, what can you expect from a Hammers show?
Ooh. Um, High voltage, just intensity. I think what you hear in the recording's great, and we're really proud of it. But I think to see that live, I had the amazing privilege to watch my band live. I had an injury and had to sit a gig out, so I got to watch from the front, and it's
And you got absolutely ripped too.
I ate a big fat edible and just stood there in a little cloud. Great fun. But it's high voltage, a lot of energy that you can expect, and I guess like our chemistry as blokes is very animated. You can you get to see that it's not just a bunch of dudes going through the motions of playing some songs they created in their garage. We believe in what we do and we love what we do, and the opportunity to do that together, you get to see that. Regardless of how tired you are, or slept on the airport floor the night before, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I guess like it definitely a stickler for making sure we convey what we've recorded live. So you're gonna get what you hear, but you're gonna get it delivered the way Ruckus has explained it, which is how it should be.
With intent.
We don't use a click, we don't use backing tracks. We practice hard and we make sure we got all our bits and pieces down as best as we can. No tune, none of that shit. So yeah, you're getting a real rock show delivered as it fucking should be, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, the part that I'm not supposed to know about. So obviously you went and toured with somebody at the end of last year, and they've got you back on board, I believe, allegedly. Allegedly. How did you feel about that? That when a band so iconic like that band, nearly mentioned them, can then go, "Hey, you were so great on here. Can we have you back for our next run?"
Well, that band is kind of like we're all homies. Been a long time. As
All
like
Queenslanders, yeah.
our families. Oh, right back to the old days. Like I've got like a 20 odd year history with those boys, and they're all family. Like I think we're all just comfortable doing it together, and it's a no fuss, easy work. We all know what we need to do, kind of setup. You know what I mean? So if
Well,
the
they're
boys,
also about shows, weren't they? The last run.
yeah, yeah, they were well, very close, if not, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
No.
they're just the best guys, man. Just in the team, it's just all it feels like family. We are very gracious that they've given us the opportunity to do some more stuff with them again. So
Give you a platform to perform in front of 700 to 1,500, maybe more people.
yeah,
I think that also goes a long way. That we are grateful. We've got a strong work ethic. We're not bratty. We all work together. We're all trying to do the same thing and having a good time doing it. So
yeah, like we'll get in, we load the truck with the boys. Like we've always done. I'd carry that ethic with this band hard. It's like we're not just there to sit back and suck on another band's rider. It's like we'll get in there and have a crack and help the boys out. Try not to get in the way. And yeah, that stuff travels, I reckon.
One last question, because I said it was only going to be three. So, when will we see you in Adelaide?
Nah.
Good question. That's a good question.
Well, this is the thing. I'd love to play Adelaide and WA, Northern Territory, as much as possible. Australia is probably the most expensive country to tour in, and everything's so far apart, realistically. So when you talk about an Adelaide show for a Gold Coast band or a WA show for a Gold Coast band, we're basically forfeiting two other shows to get there. And chances are at this level that we might come and play to 80 people or something, which is kind of doubles down on that.
Yeah.
But we're always thinking about it. Like, I love playing. Like Helm used to love going to Adelaide. We had a great little fan base there, and I love playing Adelaide. I've got a fair few mates down there and stuff, and we always have a ball.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it's honestly only a dollars and cents thing and a routing thing. The best thing that Adelaideans can do that love Hammers is make it known and spread the word. Tell as many people as possible. So when we do come, we're kicking off some merch and we're playing to some heads. and then we'll
Nice.
sort of, and it's well, we're going to make the sacrifice anyway, so hopefully the next tour will do it. But in the meantime, yeah, bit of vibe would be sick.
Again, you're independent, so you gotta look after the bottom dollar. And it's the age old thing about Adelaide and WA is that you turn up here and then no one shows to the show. It's like it's yeah. And then people in Adelaide then whinge that bands don't come here, and you're like, well, did you go and watch them last time? No. Well, fuck.
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe too, like not to take this out too long, but I think a lot of it's got to do with like the change in media. Like a lot of the stuff we're all doing because of social media has really changed what people see. And it's quite often that simple. Like a lot of people, like I've had heaps of messages out, but I didn't know you were coming. I didn't know you were coming. And we're doing everything we can, paying for, things and whatever else, like to get it boosted and everything else online and always like doing as much media as possible. And like I even personally text, we all do it, personally text and email and message people that we know to try and, fill stuff out and then hope that the rest of the fans that we don't know will come. But a lot of the time, I just think because stuff's so saturated and social media does kind of reign supreme, if people don't see it there, they ain't coming.
Yeah.
Like
It's a lot of it's algorithms. Like I go on Facebook and I'll have like one post at the top, which is a mate's, and then the next 5 or 6 will be pages I'm not even following.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just sitting there going, I don't want to see this. And Instagram does the same. It's like every third picture is something I'm not fucking following.
Yeah.
And you get tired of it.
I think you can elect what you do and don't see more and more. It's just hard. Like the physical aspects go on. Like it's good that we're not cutting trees down for street press, but also it'd be fucking nice to be able to go and pick up a zine somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I know a couple of local tweed crew of Bad News out of one of the local record shops, Badlands Vinyl. They're really supporting like local writers and publishing, like DIY publishing, and getting some of that stuff. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think a bit of that needs to come back, and maybe we'll see, if they sort of embrace recycled paper use and all the rest of it. Maybe we might see a little bit more of a surge or a return to some of that old school charm that we used to have with like Brave and Impress and Drum Media and Beat Magazine and all that stuff. You guys down there would have had a version of that. But also that might just be a pipe dream because I'm an old lad. But
Yeah, it could be that as well. So
yeah,
on that though. So thank you very much. I was only meant to have 20 minutes. Tiana was very explicit on that, but she's not here, so bollocks to her. Normally she's in the background going, like, hurry up. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, but seriously, thanks for your time tonight. And I really appreciate it. My understanding is that I can't post anything until at the earliest next week anyway. So we'll get the thing out next week when we can. And best luck with the new album, January 23rd.
Thanks heaps, man.
Thank you, mate.
Absolute pleasure, and hopefully I'll see you guys again sometime.
Yep, for sure. And when we do come to Adelaide, you'll be on the door. We'll have a beer. We'll have a Cooper's Green.
Nice. Or a Cooper's Red.
Or a Cooper's Red. End of the night, we'll have a bunch.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. Take care and the best of luck.
Yeah, mate. See ya.